Jay, tell me a little bit about what you do.
Our firm pairs up investors with borrowers. We deal with accredited investors who are typically very sophisticated, who are looking for things beyond stock and bond investments, and we try to match them with folks that need to borrow money secured by commercial real estate. What separates us from some of our competitors are that my partner and I have a little over 60 years of banking experience, and therefore get a lot of referrals from banks that are highly qualified. So our company is structured as a fund. It's a limited partnership, and our investors essentially are partners with all the other investors, with our company acting as the general partner and doing all the day-to-day management. So our investors essentially have a passive role, but they're typically sophisticated investors, as I stated earlier, who understand the type of risk that's involved with investing in private equity versus stock market, bonds, or a CD at your local bank.
And you did mention this is a passive investment. Tell me what a passive investment is.
That's correct. This is a passive investment. The decisions are all made by myself and my partner as general partners.
Okay. What is the role of a passive investor?
To provide us with capital and to help bring deals to our table, but they're not doing anything in a decision-making process.
Tell me a little bit about the application process for your clients.
It's a lot easier process. We get to employ common sense. When we were in banking, we really did run the bank to make sure that we didn't run afoul of regulators, and unfortunately had many instances where we had to turn away qualified borrowers because they just didn't fit into the guidance that the banking regulators provided to us. In the private equity world, we really can make decisions that are good business decisions without the bureaucracy that's involved in banking.
What's going on with interest rates and how it impacts what you do?
We've seen interest rate rising in the last several months, and I think that'll continue to happen. And I believe as that happens, it's going to allow us to charge more to our borrowers and thus increase the returns to our investors. But there's really no telling. This market has been a very volatile market. The last 12 to 24 months have had things occur that I never would have predicted. So there's no telling, and it's just been a fun ride to see what will happen.
Tell me a little bit about the liquidity when one gets involved in a private equity fund.
The investments are locked up for 48 months. It is a closed fund, so if somebody comes in to make the investment with us, they have to commit to the lifespan of the fund, and the funds are all 48-month funds.
What are the minimums required to consider having an investment with you?
Yes, we typically want to have at least $250,000 as a minimum investment from any accredited investor.
And is there a maximum?
No, we'll take as much money as you're willing to give us.
What actually brought you to enter into the financial world?
It was by accident. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do when I went to college. I was a chemistry major for 3 semesters and took an economics class and decided I like economics more than chemistry. And so fell into finance, ended up getting a job in Fort Lauderdale with Nations Bank out of university and never left.
What do you enjoy most about what you do?
Interacting with new people every day. Every day is different. There's no telling what the day will have in store when I get up and go to the office, and I find that exciting. I'd be bored if I knew what was going to happen every single day.
Jay, if there's one thing that you would want your potential client to know, what makes Community Capital Holdings different?
Our management is locally based here in South Florida. Our reputations mean everything to us, and we're always going to make the right decision, regardless of how it impacts ourselves. It's going to be to the best interest of our investors.
Okay. So it certainly sounds like there's built-in credibility within the community.
I'd like to think so.